is the Saturday Morning Update on 630 WMAL.
Saturday Morning Update, 630 WMAL. We hear a lot in the media about people having problems with mortgages, foreclosures, and you'd be surprised that you may not have to face this. Even if you are in financial straits, there could be some help for you. And we are joined by Dena Roudybush. She is with Compliance Counsel. She's an attorney. She's worked both sides of the aisle on this. And Dena, it's great to have you with us.
Thank you.
The media would lead us to believe that in the Washington area, the home values have stayed up and not as many people in this area are facing what they're facing around the country. Is that true?
Absolutely incorrect. I have clients in $2 million properties down to home values of $137,000. It's really afflicted everyone in every segment throughout Virginia and Maryland.
So this is something that a lot of people are facing in this area?
Absolutely, yes.
You know, I think for a lot of people, including myself, there's sort of an intimidation about the bank. You know, they're in the driver's seat. They're always the ones in control, and whatever they say goes. And that seems to be the way people feel. And is there a recourse? I mean, is there something you can do if you are in a pinch, if you're underwater, you want a loan modification, and the bank has said nada? What can you do about it?
Those are the ground rules when you're applying for a loan modification. They control everything. They can throw your documents in the trash, and there is no recourse. That is why litigation, many people have read about this budding new litigation against investors and banks to keep them in their homes. That is giving the homeowner the power back. Without an attorney, unfortunately, yes. The loan modification process, less than 10% we know that are eligible for HAM actually receive a loan modification. The power really comes to the homeowner, taking the control away from the banks, and that's what we do, and I know other firms across the country do this, filing suit against the investor.
Let me draw an analogy. I don't know if it's applicable here or not, and this goes back a ways. Anytime a woman would go to a car dealership, there was a feeling she was going to get taken advantage of, so women would bring a guy along to help them with the car dealer, or when they're getting their car fixed. Is it a similar thing here where when the bank looks at an individual, they say, I got nothing to worry about. But if an individual goes in with an attorney, do they look at you differently?
Absolutely, yes. We had a client retain us, for example, for litigation. I sent this pre-litigation letter. It's very standard. The bank knows when they receive this letter what's coming next. In 2 weeks, I received, on behalf of that client, FedExed overnight to me, a loan modification for this homeowner. Everything changes when you're going with an attorney.
So is this kind of a thing where the squeaky wheel gets the grease? In other words, if they can take advantage of 90 people, but there are one or two that have attorneys, they'll just sort of not waste the time on the attorneys?
That is correct. I've been so tempted actually to go to the courtrooms and hand out my card to the people facing foreclosures and evictions because there are so many things that can be done. But yes, absolutely yes, I would testify under oath that the investor, the bank, takes advantage of the homeowner without an attorney.
Now, that statement coming from you, you actually worked on the other side, right? You worked for a bank.
I represented local community banks and national mortgage lenders. I was general counsel for a national mortgage servicing company. That's my experience comes from having this intimate knowledge of the mortgage banking industry. I served as regulatory compliance counsel for the past 8 years, and now for the past 2, I'm representing homeowners and fighting against the banks.
That's fascinating. So you're kind of like having a secret weapon here. You've been in the locker room for the opposing team, and you know the game plan. You know how they play the game.
I know how they work. I know how they service loans. I know how they treat homeowners facing foreclosure. And that's why I feel so strongly and passionately about representing homeowners now, to give them their the power back to at least have a fair fighting chance to stay in their home.
So let's say you sit down with somebody at the mortgage lending company. You're talking to them on the phone, and they lay out some things for you, and they tell you some things, and you think you have an understanding of what's going on. Can that change?
Absolutely, yes, it can change, and you cannot always rely on what the mortgage servicer is telling you. Your loan is owned by an entity, another bank, Deutsche Bank, Bank of New York, for instance. The person that you're calling, the one that you receive your mortgage payment from, in most cases, they're merely servicing your loan. What the investor decides to do and what the servicer decides to do, there may be a huge disconnect, and oftentimes there is. The servicer tells you they're going to stop the foreclosure. The next thing you know, it's going down to the trustee's office for a foreclosure sale. So you can't always rely verifying what the servicer is telling you, and also there's an intentional delay in providing you information that either you are going to be qualified or you are not qualified for a mortgage modification. They want to keep servicing that loan in an attempt to keep collecting payments from you.
So you're an attorney here in the Washington area. You have an individual homeowner. Do you take on a bank, like a Bank of America or a Deutsche Bank, the big banks? Do you take those guys on?
Absolutely, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Because the person that comes into my office there is a face and a family behind it, and I feel passionately about helping them and assisting them.
So will you talk to just about anybody that is having a mortgage problem right now?
Yes, I actually do pro bono work. I do housing clinics. My main goal is really to educate a homeowner. A better informed homeowner can make a decision whether to leave the house, try to stay in the house, fight it. The objective is different for every single client, but it's difficult, if not impossible, to make a decision without it being an informed decision and knowing truly what your options are.
Best way to reach you?
Phone 703-261-7097 or our website saveyourhouselawyer.com.
Okay, the phone number is 703-261-7097, 261-7097. Website is saveyourhouselawyer.com. It's Dena Roudybush. This is fascinating because I just think there are a lot of us that would feel if we were in that position, there would be nobody to turn to.
Exactly. And the bank wants you to feel that way as well.
Thank you for taking the time to be with us on this.